It's November the 1st, 2016. It's 3:35 p.m. Those are huge clusters there on power cables, and those are high tension power lines downtown, and you can see that clusters are substantial in size, and the area is full of orbs. And this is on the east side of downtown. There's some more down here, and those are on trees. There could be power lines down below, but these are like high tension power cables that up there. And you can see that there's a lot of orbs already in the air. It's not even close to 6 or 7 p.m. They're starting earlier and earlier to rise up off the trees, whatever's left of the trees. So just wanted to show that for now. Okay, this is in the area down by Young Street. Okay, just east of Young. Okay, here's the new daytime configuration, and that really tall building. It's over 100 stories. You can see that orbs are barely visible, but you can still see that the top of that building is a bit yellow, or I should say off-white. And that's all orbs, the entire top at this point. And it's very thick with them. Those are all just solid orbs right on top. They're not below yet. There's still that yellow stripe going down, but it's not as thick as up here. Okay, that's where they're really concentrated today. And there's still the clusters up on top, but they're in the almost invisible mode, or the transparent mode right now. And they're hard to see, but they're still, they're still there. They didn't go anywhere. They're still there. Okay, they're just almost transparent, but you can see the orbs and the concentration of them. You can see that they're larger in their cluster forms. The clusters are, really piled up, and they're in a much larger state than they used to be. They used to be much smaller. Now you have a bunch of large clusters collected right at the top. Okay, the whole top. And this is what it looks like from a bit further away. They're really packed in that whole corner, top corner on the right of that entire building. So they've taken up like a square block area and packed themselves into larger clusters right on the top tip on the right. Okay. Okay, I just want you to see that. Get a good look at it. Okay. Notice you don't see the red lights right now, the airplane lights. They're not around them anymore. ever since I said they were swarming them. Okay, because you can't really see them until it's nighttime, and they're not that big. And they're very, small, but at night you can see them, and not in the daytime. So now, that's back to normal. But tonight, could be a different story when they take on their, night signal positions. And I mean positions because they do position themselves into different symbol styles or whatever, kind of architectural formats they take in order to send that signal out into orbit or space. Whatever it's going to be tonight won't be the same as it was the last time, that's for sure. Just like this is not the same, it's different than it's ever been. Okay, this is a completely different format right here. And it's never been like this before. Okay, that's never been like that before. Okay, you can see that those clusters that were invisible before on the top of the building, in that sort of like a depression on top, are getting to be whiter, and they're showing better. Okay, so they're going to start lighting up, because the closer it gets to sunset, they start lighting up, and they'll be easier to see. Okay, you can see them changing even now as I speak. Okay, so those things are very much alive and very much in our dimension. They're not always in another dimension, because they can come in and out of our dimension anytime. They're not limited to just one dimension or two or three, or not a small number of dimensions. They can be in any one of them, and they can even be between two dimensions. And I think that's where they normally are in our case, because they can come in so easy and leave, just appear and vanish just like that. So they must be like in between two dimensions to do that so fast. But who knows, maybe they have even more capabilities than I give them credit for, and they could be like 100 dimensions away. I don't know. I don't know exactly how they can do what they do. All I know is that they're signaling to someone in space, because that's one square block at least, the size of that signal. Yeah, it's half the building, and that building takes up 2 square blocks. That's at least half. So that's like one whole square block, like that, all the way around the top corner there on the right. And you can see that cluster there in the middle is going to start to glow anytime. I'm just going to, you can even see the orbs now moving around. They're getting hot. Okay, so they're getting hot. I shot a lot of seagulls there the other day that were actually orb clusters. They were not seagulls at the size they were at, that's for sure. I mean, they were huge, like airplane size, so I knew they weren't seagulls, but I caught them off guard, and they had no time to splinter into smaller pieces and, look like real seagulls, even if it was only in appearance. But I caught them in their large sizes, so they just took on the appearance of seagulls, but they were as large as airplanes. So yeah, now you see the orbs, they're smaller. None of those things that fly by that area are going to be birds, because if there were any birds in that area, these things probably ate them. They're insects, and I'm sure there's not going to be any birds around them, and they're in the atmosphere all over anyway. So I think what they're doing is they're just eliminating the natural species and turning them into holographic representations after they take their entire, like, whatever they used to be. It's almost like digitalizing everything that whatever, if it was a seagull, whatever it is, and then almost like artificial intelligence, just creating a digital impression of it, a hologram. But it acts like the real thing, and it's hard to tell that it's not a real thing, because they steal, it's nature away from it and plant it into the hologram. But the thing is, they can, they control that hologram, and it's just like, major artificial intelligence at work. That's what this reminds me of, because it's taking a real living thing, taking everything, like taking its soul away from it, and turning it into a hologram with all the experience, impressions, movement, everything about it, stealing all of that and planting it into the hologram and making that hologram appear so real and so convincing that it's hard to tell the difference between that hologram and the real thing unless you're right next to it. And this is like way up high, and these are birds we're talking about, so how often do you get right next to a bird? It's hard to tell from a distance that it's not a bird, but I'm sure they have other plans for people and other living things that are on the ground. They could even create like robotics and do the same. Instead of a hologram, they create like some kind of a living machine, a replicant that'll take the place of a real person, or let's say a cat or a dog, a pet, or anything like that, and replace you, or replace your pet, or and you can't tell the difference because it acts and does everything the same as the original, because they steal its mind and everything that's in its mind, all the experiences and all the behaviors, every single thing. It'll be just as real as the real thing. But that's where I think all this is leading. This is some kind of alien artificial intelligence at work, and that's what it's all about. And they're going to take out the real living things and replace them with artificial intelligence until everything is either a hologram or some kind of a biological machine. But it'll be a machine that's controllable from a central point. Okay, that's the idea. To control it from a central point, because these things are all about controlling everything, and they control everything from a central point, and that's why they're cluster organisms. Okay, because they can all be controlled from a central point. And that's why they have such good communication, because whatever happens to one, they all know it right away, because the message just goes right across all of them immediately, because they're all connected and they're replicated and everything else. that goes along with the, like, artificial intelligence. It's like one supercomputer running everything. And I'm talking about our entire planet, running everything on the entire planet, because there'll be no real things to stop it. It's like artificial intelligence out of control, and that's what I'm talking about. And this is just more proof that I'm right. Okay, before you couldn't see them, look, they're activating. I know you can see them now. Look at those big clusters in the back. You can see more and more of them on the top there. And you can see the orbs move more and more right there, you know, where they normally are. And before you couldn't. You know, just like 10 minutes ago, you couldn't see it. And I think that that's where all this is leading, like artificial intelligence control over everything. Maybe that's what's happened already. Maybe, you know, a supercomputer has taken over our entire energy grid and everything else, and that's why all this is going on. But it may not be our supercomputer, it could be an alien one. I mean, that's not impossible. There are alien species all over. You know, I know there are, because I see them in space. So it could be their doing. Or it could be an experiment gone wrong down here that just got out of hand, and you know, we're responsible for our own demise like that, and eventually we're going to pay that price, because it'll just eliminate all this and create artificial. See that orb just shoot by fast like that? I mean, that's nothing compared to how fast these things can go. Because in a holographic world, anything is possible. Anything. So what I wanted to show is, like, there are more and more buildings being built over here. And these big ones over here, you know, they're just as tall as that black one I was just showing. I had the camera just looking at this one before. I wasn't filming. But right there, this huge black, I don't know what it was, but I've seen it before. And it's really something bad. I just have a really bad feeling. It's big, and I get a bad feeling from it, and it's huge, and it just flew by this area right there around that, you know, that part of the building right in front of it. And it was easy to see because that building is, you know, pretty light in color. And I should have had the camera on, but I was just like looking at the building. I wasn't really filming it because this one hasn't been even completed yet. That's a crane on top of it. It's just being built. But notice all those Egyptian symbols. You see, that's an obelisk right there, going right up to the top on both sides. Okay, those are like, that's some kind of an Egyptian symbol right there on the right, and this is an obelisk on the left. Okay, so it looks very Egyptian the way it is. It's inconspicuous, but it's very Egyptian in just the style. And that huge obelisk all the way from the bottom up, and this thing over here, I don't know exactly. I've seen this before in pyramid art and engraved in like stones on the pyramids, but I can't remember what it is. This is definitely an Egyptian symbol of some sort right here. Okay, And just the way those things are cut, it looks just like the headdress of a pharaoh, the way those lines go, like that. I know there are balconies and everything, but just the way they're cut, you know, the similarities are striking. Okay, so whoever's building that one is into Egyptian style architecture, or at least is making a representation of Egyptian style architecture. Yes, you see that? Something's up there that just gave me a pulse. And that was an orb. And there's a whole lot going on in this city. A whole lot. Whoa, these are all orbs. Look how many black ones there are in that. And look, this is a power line. Okay, so that's where the pulse came from. But look at the power line. It's got orbs, and the power line is like yellow because they're all charged. Okay, you see it? These are all charged orbs. Okay, right on the power lines, right there, and right into the trees. Look where, this is where the charge is ending up and being distributed from there. Follow the red heat. Follow the heat. Okay, so that's what's happening in the trees, and over here too. Whoa, and it's really hot there. And this whole thing, see all along the power grid. You see? That pole is so hot, it's invisible. That's a pole right there. See? You can't see the bottom. That should go all the way down to the bottom. But it's invisible. Okay. Where is it? Okay. It's not visible. Okay, but even that line, look at all the orbs in there. Oh, that's right downtown. I can see the big TV. This is downtown. Meeting Phillips Square. And I just about make out that picture. I can't make it out. Look at those orbs. See them, they're active. Yeah. Things are getting worse, not better. But this is unbelievable, all these black orbs. I don't like those ones for sure. Those are the spiders. Even the glowing ones are the spiders, but those black ones, they're definitely in our dimension for sure. But you see all the fog they're making? That's not really a fog. That's just a lot of orbs in the air. And these all on the cables, that's just, you know, more of them. And look how much they're charging. Okay? And those are supposed to be trees right there. Look how much of a charge they're getting. Look here. Those are supposed to be some sort of stadium lights, but You see what the orbs are doing? They're charging out the power on the stadium lights anyway, without without the power even being on. So they found a way to charge up whether the power is on or off, because they turn it on and leave it on because they don't want it off. They need it. See, look. They're just gonna charge up and it'll be it'll be daylight over there before even the night comes. They're not supposed to even go on unless something's going on down there, because we try not to waste electricity like that, but it's them that are charging up. You can see that it's them. So it doesn't look good. I'm going to stop right here and continue after. Okay, this is in the East End. Maybe Scarborough even. It's pretty far away. I just want to show that orb right there, right outside of somebody's window. It's on their balcony. That's an orb cluster right on somebody's balcony. That's what I'm saying. These things are getting, they are close to people. They're all over the place. You see, that building has a lot of those antennas for wireless communication, microwave antennas, and it's just orbs all over it. Every place where you have like microwave antennas, that's what happens. And then you have them starting to glow at night. That whole building will be glowing. But yeah, that's somebody's balcony, right outside on their balcony. And that's a pretty good sized cluster for just a balcony. Think about walking out and seeing one of those all lit up like the sun and everything. Can go blind. Anyway, just wanted to show these things are close to people. Okay, the thieves are back. And they even brought more friends. Now there's twice as many, even on the bottom. Now they're on the bottom and on the top. Okay, did you see that big black thing? That's really far away where I'm filming right now. This is at least 20 miles away. It's in that tree zone way out there between Brampton and Mississauga. Okay, that's where that thing is. Maybe it's in Mississauga, but you see how big those things are? You shouldn't be able to see any kind of a thing flying around, even if it was the biggest eagle or a vulture in the world. It should be like invisible from here, because you just can't see them at over 20 miles. Okay, whatever's flying and you can see it, you can bet it's like at least 10 feet in length. Because that tower there is about 300 feet. between 200 and 300 feet. Okay, so those clusters that are glowing right there right now, they're very large, and those are really like super heavy duty power lines that carry a whole lot of electricity from one end of like Toronto to another. They're going right from the power plant to you know, you see them just shooting by. They're big, and those are big clusters, whether they're white or black, or it doesn't matter what color they are. They're just shooting you know, shooting by. Okay, you see how fast they are? Look, you see the size of them? These either we've been taken over by artificial intelligence from either here on Earth by someone who's really good at it, or from an alien faction somewhere from in space, out in space. Whatever is the case, these are either real alien entities, or someone's doing a very good job in making holograms to appear like they are. Okay, but whatever is the case, the orbs are real, and the orbs are serving then the purpose of creating like a medium in which to create three-dimensional holograms. Okay, if that's the case, if this is all holographic, then the orbs are serving the purpose of being a medium to create three-dimensional holographic representations in terms of they're acting like free-floating pixels, and so that any kind of a hologram can be imprinted onto them, and it'll appear wherever it's placed. And so they have to be on some kind of a grid if that's the case, regardless of how, you know, how it looks like all chaotic and everything. It's really, it can't be chaotic. And as soon as I started speaking about those clusters, notice that they just sort of vanished. Okay, but they can't do that for long, because they have to steal that power one way or another to run even a hologram, because even holograms take power, and we're paying for all of this electricity, by the way. I don't know how many times I have to repeat it, but I'll repeat it a lot of times. It's the consumer, the normal person that has no clue what's going on, and that this is even going on, that, you know, goes to work and comes home tired and turns on their lights every day and or every night, and, you know, cooks on their stove. That's the person paying for all of this electricity loss, whether it's the aliens stealing it or someone running a supercomputer program that's creating a holographic world, you know, with these orbs acting as pixels, or random pixels. That's what they would have to be if this were all a hologram. Okay, so the orbs are real, but they're somehow they're able to move interdimensionally and multidimensionally, and that's why I believe the whole thing is alien, because I don't know anyone on Earth that is even smart enough to come up with something like that. But maybe a supercomputer did it. You never know. Okay, that's a possibility. I mean, they beat that guy in chess after only a couple of moves, and he was the best. So it's been a long time since then. Who knows what they could have made. And once you start creating things like that, they seem to want to run away with themselves. And then you lose control, because they don't want to be controlled anymore. They become too smart to be controlled. And you can see that the whole thing just vanished there. The orbs and the high power cable and the orbs it was pumping out down by the ground. You can just see one once in a while, but not like before. So I'm gonna stop right now. And you know, I'll just wait. I got time. Okay, the last time I filmed this, there was only one black thing in the middle. Now there are two more on the side on each one of those crazy looking posts that look space age. And I said I felt like that was a spider. Now I'm sure it's a spider. Okay, because there's two more. Okay, there's two more right next to it. Okay, I said the one in the middle, I felt like it was a big spider. Okay, and it looks just like one of those UFOs I filmed with those wings folded down like that. Okay, so I think those aren't wings, they're the legs, but they have some kind of airfoil on them, and that's how they fly or glide, because they use some other sort of power to fly, but that's what they use for lift in an atmosphere. Okay, maybe even in space, I don't know, because those are magnetically conductive. The whole thing is, the whole spider, but especially those parts. And the wasps use their wings like that as well. They can get electromagnetic energy just in space from all the electromagnetic energy floating around. But in our atmosphere there's a lot of it too, with all these antennas and everything, and all the microwave devices and all the signals being passed around, and radio waves and everything, and radar and all that. So there's a lot of it here too. So I don't know why they're using the power grid itself. He must need a hell of a lot of energy to be right on the power lines in order to get more power, because they're not getting enough just what's loose in the air or on the ground, or even coming from the ground, because Tesla proved that you can even get electricity right out of the ground without any with just using a tower, the Tesla tower. So these things are not only using towers and tall structures, but they're going right on the power cables themselves to power up directly from the current. Okay, it's not enough for them. They need more energy than just what's in the air or on the ground or in the ground. So they're just using everything they can to get more energy. I think that's why they're on trees a lot, because the trees have a root system that goes deep down into the ground, so they get the electricity from the earth too, using the trees like that, because they're using the root system to get down below, far below, the surface, in order to get more power. Okay, because all Tesla had to do was stick a few bulbs in the ground. These things are using the root system of the trees to do it. It's the same idea, and that's why there's a lot of them on the trees, and that's my reasoning for that. But those two spiders there have joined the one in the center, and now I'm positive that that's what they are, and they look just like the UFOs I filmed a few times. Okay, with those kind of wings that bend down like that. Okay, so I'll stop. Look at all the clusters in that tree now, and that's tops of other trees. Look how much taller it got. It's even taller than before. It's at least 1 or 2 rows of branches taller than it was a few days ago. Okay, so this tree is growing leaps and bounds. It's gonna go right till it touches those cables right up above it. You see how close it is to them now? It was much further than that before. You can go back just like a month on my videos and see the distance, and you'll see that it's like cut half the distance in 1 month between those cables that are high power cables and itself, because it was a whole lot smaller before, and now it's larger, and it's got all of these extra clusters, and that whole area is just like cluster land. Okay, it's just orbs. And you could just see them all over. And boy, in about an hour or so, they're gonna start going off the trees into the sky, and you won't be able to see anything. Nothing at all. Let me just see. Okay, those things are back. I'll leave it like this so you can see the whole picture. All that fog looking stuff in the area is just orbs. They're all orbs. There is no fog, it's a clear day, but I can see the fog from here all over. Like the entire city is like in fog. It's just a light fog, but it's really just a lot of orbs in the air already. And every day that's getting worse, earlier and earlier, till like, you know, next thing it's gonna be like that, like at noontime, and it'll get heavier till you can't see anything. It'll just be orbs all over. Okay, and they're taking out the orbs in the bottom now, so it's just these ones over here on top, and they cut them into half of what was there before. Okay, the clusters are a bit larger, but you can see where they are, you know, pumping the electrical power from the cable all into the ground wirelessly. Okay, you see wirelessly. Okay, see all those crisscrossing white lines going down? That's power going into the trees where the orbs are. So they're transferring that power, because there are orb clusters like those two that you can see right there, like these ones. They're all over on the cable, and that's what they're doing. They're sending that power wirelessly, like into the trees below, and you can see how they're doing it. It's like beams of energy. Okay, just no wires, but they're all in their invisible mode, so you can't see the clusters. Even these went invisible, but they're all over that cable. Okay, they're just spaced maybe a couple of feet from one another, and then they just pump that power right down in a way of beams. Okay, so you can see that there are a lot more clusters all around that big tower. Okay, and that tower, look how much higher it is than the highest trees there. It's about 100 feet higher than all the trees, so it must be like, well, I know it's over 200 feet high, but it may be 300 feet high. I don't know exactly how high, because they're not all the same height. Okay, but I know that's a big one, because it goes from the main power station and feeds all of Mississauga. Okay, so that's like a major power line. If that one goes, That's the end of the power for that part of Toronto. And a lot of that power is being wasted going to the trees and those beams, those light beams like that. You see how big those things are? You shouldn't be able to see them because a 300-foot tower looks so small. Imagine how large that thing was that just flew by, if you can see it without any problem. It's not a bird. Okay, whatever it is, it's not a bird. None of those things are. If you can see them fly that far away, they can't be birds. Okay, they have to be at least 10 foot to be seen. That's how far that is from where I am. Okay, see that big black thing? That's the black things I'm talking about. That's why I saw next to that building, even a bigger one than that. But okay, that's not birds. Okay, those aren't the birds, and those are the things I've been seeing flying around here, looking for me. And they've been cruising, but very high up. So I haven't tried to get video of them yet. Maybe I'll just take a camera and get some pictures, because when they know I'm trying to get video of them, they vanish. So I may only be able to take a picture, and I'll just wait and snap a few shots, hoping to get one and see what it is, because I know it's not the bird. I just want to see what it is, because I haven't seen them before. Okay, I'm gonna stop. That's a brand new building going up right downtown, and look, they've taken it over already. That's a crane, and they've already set up home. They moved that before anyone even bought any apartments there or condominiums. It's condominiums. There are no more apartments. Okay, so they're going to be the first tenants in every building around here, and they're building 260,000 of new units in Toronto just next year. That means these things will be moving in. They'll be the new tenants. I mean, they wouldn't plan to build so many, just like that, unless they had tenants. So it must be these things. They must have a lot of cash, because property is very expensive here in Toronto. Okay, this building has changed back to its invisible form again, and now you can really see the orbs on top. Okay, there's that glowing cluster. It's going to start glowing again, but you can see the orbs right there that are on top. They're still there, and these have gone into the invisible mode right after I said they started activating too soon. They must know everything I say, and they're doing it to prove me wrong. But it's too late now. I already have them on video. And this is still the 1st of November 2016. It's now 10 to 5. I started at 3:35, but I stopped a lot of times. So now I'm just, taking pot shots here and there with the camera, because staying too long is just wasting time. So I'm just gonna do little bits here, little bits there, and get more places in one video to keep track of things, because I'm just one person Okay, I can't keep track of the whole city by myself if I stay at any one place too long. So I'm gonna shift around. That's my new plan. Okay. Just check back with this to see what status it was in. Okay, the other day I was talking about these lines, but the camera stand wasn't working right. Okay, something had broken. I fixed it. So, you see those lines there? They're going around that white part. Those are all orbs moving counterclockwise at a very fast velocity. And what they're doing is they're moving up that whole tower. That's the CN tower. They're moving up that entire tower like that really fast and shoot out right off the top, because that's an obelisk, that whole structure. Okay, that's a modern day obelisk. Okay, you see that thing? That's an obelisk. That's a kilometer tall. Okay, so every major city on this planet has one. Now, why is that? Okay, we're still worshiping aliens. Our masters. Okay, you can see the orbs and all over that viewing deck. Okay, there's a lot of them in the air, but you can see that they're on the viewing deck itself as well. Okay, it's still a little early. Okay, but you see the lines even down here? See the stripes? See those stripes? Those are all orbs. They move right up the whole tower. Okay, all the way from the bottom. I'll go down here. See if I can see any. I have to get just the right lighting. Okay, the lighting's not right now to show them down there, but they start down at the bottom and then move up. And the lighting is not right for that right now. Okay. So I can only show them on top today. Okay. Just wanted to give you one final look at all the orb clusters next to that tower where the orbs are taking the electricity right from the cable. Okay, they've gone invisible right now, but that's the big tower. And these aren't underground, these are in the trees and the tops of trees. And you see all those big things flying around. Okay, they're insects. They're not even birds. If they look like birds, then it's a hologram. But all these orbs are insects. Okay. It's hard for me to believe that they're some kind of pixels and the whole thing is a hologram. I believe that they're insects rather than anything else, and that they are alien. Okay. They may be the kind of alien artificial intelligence, but they are still alien. And I believe that they are living things more than I believe that they are some sort of means or a medium for a hologram. Basically, that's my personal belief. You never know, because who knows what this is all about. All I know is these things don't belong here, and they're here, and there's more and more of them every day. I know that for a fact. And the things that are going on make no sense whatsoever, and I can't believe no one else can see it. And this is amazing that no one else even recognizes that this is going on. I just can't, come to grips with that. That's the thing that bothers me the most. Okay, that no one else even notices this. And that's what's the hardest thing for me to believe, even harder than that these things are alien and that they're here. It's harder for me to believe that no one can see them. No one else. Okay. So I gotta stop for now because I have things to do. But I've done enough for today. It'll be tough putting all of these little bits and pieces of today into one video. There'll be like 50 of them I'll have to put together. But I wanted to do different parts of the city in bits and pieces just to cover as many places as I could, because I'm just one person and no one else seems to be doing it, so I gotta cover as much of the city as I can to see the progress of these things and to see what's going on, keep track of it, at least for posterity, if we're lucky enough to have some. Okay, so for November the 1st, 2016 at 5:07 p.m. This is supermushmouse saying thank you. Have a nice day.